Live from Chicago, it's Chris Sells His Soul. I'm your host, Chris Bogue, and this is my show on LinkedIn Live where I help you work more creatively. So I've been doing these episodes solo recently, taking a break off the live streams. I had a lot of great episodes in season 1, but it's a little bit exhausting. So today I'm going to be filming some TikToks live in front of you. I've got a big list of ideas here. You can see, yeah. So a little context for me. My name is Chris Bogue, and I'm a content creator on LinkedIn. So if you are interested in monetizing yourself, if you're a creative person, if you're a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, a sales professional, if you're a marketer, someone who wants to get into content marketing, this show is for you. I am a writer, an entrepreneur, and comedian from Chicago, Illinois. And I teach people how to get on video and just do fun stuff as their natural self. So if you want to follow my work, the best way to follow me is to ring my bell on LinkedIn. I update twice a day on LinkedIn. You can also follow me on TikTok at Chris Sells His Soul or on Twitter at Chris Sells Soul. So I post content every day. A lot of it's funny. A lot of it is about how to sell yourself, sell your services. And today what we're going to be doing is we are going to be batching content. So let's start by syncing up the sound. And so what's going to be happening today, and by the way, if anyone is in the audience, I know I didn't really send out any invites today, but if anybody is in the audience, please go ahead and leave a comment. That is the only way I know that you're here. Leave a comment. Feel free to jump in, make comments throughout the show, make suggestions for ideas, give me topics you want to see me talk about if there's anything you're curious about. But what I'm going to be doing today is a process called batching. So the algorithms want a lot of content. They want multiple videos every day. It's not fair. It's hard. Trust me, I know it's hard. But what are you going to do? The easiest way to do it is to sit down and just batch out a whole bunch of ideas all at once. So what we're going to be doing today is you are going to see I'm going to have this camera running, and we're just going to record a bunch of ideas on the spot. And eventually I'm going to chop these up, and you'll see them on TikTok soon enough. But yeah, now I messed up my hair. Doesn't even matter. I mean, you know, the authentic TikTok thing is to look like shit, right? So, all right. So let me get my shot set up here. So I want to have the saxophone in the back. I feel like that always looks cool. Yeah, we might have to do it more like this. Okay. So if I like lean back a little bit, or if I situate myself like here, I can look at the camera. Okay. My arms here. Okay, notice how my face is lined up. There's like a little grid on the screen. It's best if you locate yourself in one of those little grid sections. But here we go. So I'm just going to say these one by one. Again, the best way to follow me, ring my bell for updates on LinkedIn, or follow me on TikTok at Chris Sells His Soul, or Twitter at Chris Sells Soul. But yeah, why don't we just go ahead and jump right into these? So this first one, got my props here. Oh shit, I got coffee all over the place. Okay. Okay, so this is called the coffee bean, or the potato, the egg, and the coffee bean. So let me just talk this through with you first before I actually start batching. Hello, Cora, welcome to the show. I was just about to tell the story of the potato and the egg and the coffee beans, right? So how the story goes. Okay, so I got into an argument with my boss because he told us a story, and it was about a potato, an egg, and a coffee bean, right? So what he said was there's a potato, an egg, and a coffee bean, right? And if you're trying to figure out what you need to do to win in life, the potato is hard, but when you put it in water, it becomes soft, right? And the egg is brittle, but when you put it in water, it becomes hard. And the coffee bean is different because the coffee bean, when you put it into water, it transforms the water. And it was this speech about, oh, you have to go transform the situation. And I felt like he got that completely wrong. The moral I took from the story is that different people need to improve in different ways, right? So if you're a potato, no one likes you if you're too hard. And if you're an egg, you probably need to get harder, otherwise you're going to crack. And you know what? Maybe you're in a bad situation that isn't for you at all, and you need to just transform it entirely. Then yeah, you're a coffee bean, but like, you need all three of those to have a good breakfast. Oh, what do we got here? We got, okay, Andrew McIntosh too. Welcome, Andrew. So we're about to start batching TikToks. So I'm just going to film a bunch and see if any of them are good. Okay, and then just for anybody who doesn't know, when you are doing straight to camera stuff, you want to look straight into the lens. So I'm looking right at you right now up there. But when I'm doing these takes, you're going to be able to tell I'm recording because I'm going to look at this phone. And notice I'm not looking at the screen. You are. I'm looking at the back of the phone, right? That's very important for making good eye contact. So here we go. Okay. I got into a little argument with my boss because he told us this story about the potato and the egg and the coffee bean. You ever heard of this? So as the story goes, it's all about what happens when you get into water, right? And he was trying to inspire us to hit our quota that was ridiculous or something. So he goes, the potato is hard, but if it gets into water, the water turns it soft. And the egg is very brittle, but when you put it into water, it turns hard. But the coffee bean is special because when you put the coffee bean into water, it transforms the water. It completely transforms the situation. And I was like, what? Like, the story that I saw there was, the moral was not that we should all be the coffee bean. The moral is people respond to problems differently. So no one likes a hard potato. Like, I will kill myself if I try to eat this. If you're too hard, you need to get softer, especially if you're a leader. And if you're a leader and you're too brittle and you fall apart easily, you need to get harder. And if you're, a fucking weirdo like me, sure, completely change the situation, but we're all different and you need all three of those things for a good breakfast. Am I right? Whatever. It's probably a TikTok. I got coffee everywhere. Okay. So I'm going to cross that one off the list. Where's that? Potato. Okay. So this one is called Cocaine and Adderall. Here's a question I always wanted to ask my bosses, but never had the guts to. Whenever they're telling you about their legendary cold calling days or their focus blocks where they're able to just lock down and just get a massive amount of dials in 60 minutes, I always want to ask them, were you on cocaine? Or did you have an illegal Adderall subscription or prescription? Okay, I gotta do that again. The premise of this is I know a lot of really talented sales bosses did their best work while using illegal drugs. And it's not fair, and that's the benchmarks they set. And yeah, I've had jobs where I felt like, I think I could do this if I was on cocaine. But I don't want to, like, use cocaine. I don't want to get it, like, I don't want to become addicted to Adderall. But yeah, it did definitely mess with me to be in organizations where I knew the leaders who had built the organization and set those records were on cocaine or Adderall. So let's just try this again. Hey, are you a sales leader who inspires people with your goals of your legendary cold calling days? I have an uncomfortable question to ask you. Were you doing cocaine? Or did you have an illegal Adderall hookup? Because a lot of the sales killers do stimulants. They take illegal drugs, and they're very successful because you need a lot of focus and you need to grind in order to succeed at that job. But it's like any doping situation where the people who don't do it are suddenly at a disadvantage. And if you find yourself when you're in a situation and you say, I think I'm not going to be able to do this successfully unless I have cocaine, you should probably just find a different sales job. What happens when you put Chris in the water? I swim, Igor. Put me in the water. You can't keep me out of the water, man. I was a little kid who would jump into, drinking fountains and stuff like that, or the fountains with the pennies. Yeah, you can't keep me out of water. Let's do the cocaine one more time and see how it goes. Here's a little secret they won't tell you in your SDR training for sales. Your bosses might be on cocaine, or at least they might have had an illegal Adderall hookup when they were in the pit making cold calls and cold emails. So people don't like to talk about this. We like to pretend like it's all sunshine and time blocks and taking walks. But the reality is anybody who's ever been in a sales role knows that they push you hard. It's really hard. It's long hours, it's repetitive work, it's lots of rejection. And yeah, of course, I know tons of sales leaders who did all sorts of illegal drugs to get through the grind. And they set very impressive records, and now they hold the direct reports to that. And it's like any doping situation, right? Where if you don't take the drug, you're not going to be able to perform as well. So it creates really perverse incentives. So I don't want to do cocaine. I don't want to feel like I need to do cocaine to do my job. So that's why I work for me now. Okay. I think we're done with that one. I think we're probably going to go with the first take. Okay. This one is called I'm a Coder. Are you trying to find a job? Here's a 3-word sentence that's going to make your life a lot easier. I had a friend. She was trying to get into... Okay. I'm going to start this over again. So once again, this is I'm a Coder. Here's a little 3-sentence phrase. Here's a little 3-word... I don't know why this is so hard. Here's a little 3-word phrase that you should learn if you're looking for a job. So I had a friend, she was trying to pivot out of restaurant work and get into coding. So she took a coding class and she was trying to find entry-level jobs. And I told her, repeat after me. I'm a coder. You see, the problem with looking for a new profession, making a pivot, is you start telling the story of, oh, I want to get into this thing. I want to be this thing. But if you've taken the basic level of courses and you're qualified for the entry-level job, you could just say, yeah, I'm a coder. And you don't have to spend time explaining that you're not one. Talk about what you know, talk about your experience, talk about what you recently learned. More importantly, be curious about other people. But yeah, you're a coder. And if you want to make it in comedy, don't say I'm trying to be a comedian. Just say I'm a comedian. It's not like we have any qualifications. It's pretty easy to just say you do this because all you got to do is tell some jokes. But yeah, you're a coder, you're a dancer, you're whatever the hell you say you are. It's not like I'm going to Google you. Okay. So I'm going to try one more take of that because we could probably get that nice and succinct, right? If you're looking for a job, here is a 3-word phrase that's going to change your life. I told this to a friend. She was working in restaurants and she wanted to make a pivot into coding. So she had taken an intro coding class and she was applying for entry-level jobs. So I said, repeat after me. I'm a coder. That's it. You don't have to say, I want to be a coder. If you're trying to get into sales, you don't have to say, I'm an aspiring salesperson. Just start selling something. Start selling yourself. Talk about what you know, but you don't have to spend a lot of time explaining what you don't know. The audience doesn't know that, especially if you have the basic requirements to get an entry-level job. Just say that's what you do. If you want to be a comedian, just say, I'm a comedian. It's not like we have any standards. It's pretty easy. And what you think I'm going to do? Google you? No, just say whatever you want to be. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Okay, this is going to be a little bit more of a serious one. It's kind of a more entrepreneurship-y one. So this is called The People Who Love You Will Underestimate You. If you're trying to make it as a business owner or as an artist, I've got some news for you. I don't know if this is good or bad, but the people who love you and know you the best are going to be the ones who underestimate you. Seems weird, right? Those are the people who love you. So in theory, those should be the people who believe you can do anything. But the problem is they've seen you at your worst. Right? They've seen you fail. They've seen you fall short. They've seen you procrastinate. They've seen you fall into depressions. They've seen you struggle, go through bad relationships and make mistakes. They're prepared for you to fail in all these different ways. So they're going to project that onto you when you're trying to make it, and it's going to mess with your head. So don't get discouraged if the people in your life don't believe in you as you're starting out. It's actually much easier to win over strangers. Okay, so subscription, yeah. Did I just form a new SaaS company, Andrew? Damn it. I'm going to give some psychopath in sales $1 million idea. Well, I'm out here making my ticky-ticky-tocks, my ricky-ticky-tabbies. I'm going to try this one again. I think I could do it in one more. So... So if you're trying to make it as an artist, or if you're trying to start your own business, I've got some news that might upset you. Your friends and your family and the people who know you and love you the most are the ones who are gonna. One more time. If you're trying to make it on your own as an artist or as a business owner, I've got some bad news for you. The people who know you the best and who love you, your friends and your family, they're going to be the ones who underestimate you. I know that seems weird, right? They're the people who love you the most. So in theory, they're the people who should believe that you can do anything. But the reality is they've seen you fail. They know what you're like at your worst. They've seen you get lazy. They've seen you procrastinate. They've seen you fail at your goals. They've seen you in bad relationships. They've seen you exhibit bad behavior. So when you try to do something new and bold, that's all going to come rushing back to them, and they're going to want to protect you. So you can't base your plans solely on whether or not the people around you think it's safe. It's actually a much better idea to go out there and start giving that to strangers and see what strangers think. Because when a stranger meets you and you're doing cool things, they see nothing but potential. Whereas the people who know you just see why it might go wrong. All right, I like that. I'm just going to switch my t-shirt. This is something I do just so the videos look a little different. So I'm just going to run into a different shirt. I'm going to be right back on camera in a second. Okay, gray shirt time. Look out, everybody. So, okay. Try not, do or do not. There is, yeah, you just got to do it. There are no mistakes. I firmly believe that, Igor. There's just the show, you know, whatever happens is part of the show. Use it. So this next one is called Billboards Are for Assholes. Billboards are for assholes. You know, don't try to make me feel bad for cold calling or cold emailing you, okay? People say, oh, cold calling, that's the most invasive form of sales. You know what the most invasive form of sales is? A billboard. Yeah, you know, if you paid to put up a billboard, you're an asshole, okay? You're going to make me feel bad for sending you a LinkedIn message? You've hired a guy to go up 30 feet in the air and sell to me while I'm driving. That is not, if I cold called you and you were like, I'm driving, I'd be like, oh no, be safe. You had him do it so I'd be driving when you sell to me. You asshole. Okay, so I'm going to try that one more time. I'm trying to think, what's a funny way to end that bit? So it's like, maybe I'll just be like, yeah, someone got angry at me because I sent them a video on LinkedIn. I can start that way. And then, yeah, compare it to, I mean, like, you hired a guy. Ooh, I have to make sure I'm not going off. I got to keep my finger close to my face, too, if I want to get it on here. So when I do that and I point up, they got to be able to see it because I don't want to be gesturing off screen. All right, someone got mad at me because I DM'd them on LinkedIn without permission. Like, oh, it's so invasive. Cold calling is so invasive. Cold emailing is so invasive. You know what the most invasive kind of selling is? A billboard. Yeah, that's what I said. If I cold called you and you're like, I'm driving right now, buddy, I'd be like, oh, sorry, call me back when you're not driving. You know what billboard people do? You paid a guy to go 30 feet up in the air to sell to me while I'm driving. You asshole. Okay, yeah. I think ending it on you asshole. I'm gonna do that one more time because I think there's something here. Let's just see if I can get it clean. Yeah, I do sales, cold calls, cold emails, LinkedIn messages, whatever. Sometimes people get pissed off at me. They say, oh, that's so invasive. That's so rude. You know what's rude? Billboards. Yeah, I said it. If I called you and you're like, hey, I'm driving right now, I would be like, whoa, dude, I'm sorry. I'll call you when it's safe to talk. But you know what you billboard people did? You hired a guy to go 30 feet up in the air and sell me your bullshit while I'm driving. You asshole. Okay, so one of those is probably good. That was Billboards Are for Assholes. Okay, this one is live stream is about to take a turn. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so this is one. Fucking Billboards advertising shitty lawyers. Yeah, you know what though? That is the thing though. They're expensive, but the billboards are stealing your attention. You know, at least with a cold call, you could decide to not pick up. With a scrolling ad, you could just scroll past it. If it's a guy on a billboard, you have to stare at it. And we never talk about this, okay? I just feel, at least I say something nice about the person when I make them a video or whatever. This one is called Don't Suck. Don't Suck. So I'm going to share some angsty high school feelings because I think my audience is into that. So okay, I'll actually start this out with a question. Maybe I can see if I can make it a little bit more interactive. So what's the worst advice you ever received from a teacher? I had a speech coach, and I did speech team competitions when I was a high school kid, and you had 3 rounds, and it was very hard to do well in all 3 rounds. Usually you'd have 1 round where you didn't do that well in. So I would go up to my speech coach, and I'd say, hey, coach, I'm feeling a little nervous about round 3. Can you give me any advice? Can you give me any help to pump me up? And he would say, don't suck. And then he'd walk away. What kind of advice is that? What kind of advice is that? That's terrible advice. When you have a young, insecure person, if you tell them not to suck right before a performance, they're going to focus on failing. And what I found from the best coaches is the best kind of direction is to help the person visualize success. You know, so I actually had a much better teacher, Brendan Hunt from Ted Lasso. His philosophy was dare to suck. And that's much better. Who cares if you suck? Go out there and try your heart out and don't worry about sucking. Okay. Okay, so try this one more time. I could get that cut down. I do think it's strong to start with a question, though, so I'm going to try that again. So what's the worst advice a teacher has ever given you? I had a speech coach when I was in high school, and he was a speech theater coach. Whenever I would be having a big competition, I would get nervous. So I'd go and I'd ask him for a pep talk, and he would go, don't suck. What kind of douchebag advice is that? That's terrible advice to give a nervous 14-year-old. If you tell somebody, don't suck, they focus on failure. They start getting all freaked out about what happens if they fail. Where the best coaches I had, what they do is they help you visualize the success. They get you excited. If I was in that situation, I would tell the kid a joke. You know, the best coach I ever had at this. So I was a part of this theater run by Brendan Hunt from Ted Lasso. And he had the exact opposite philosophy. He didn't say, don't suck. He said, dare to suck. And I live by that right now. Who cares if you suck? Go out there and try. But don't worry about failing, because then you're going to suck. Okay. That one works. Okay. I'm going to grab my dog for this one. Right back. Come here, baby. Okay, so she was sleeping, so I had to wake her up. This is Biscuit. Everyone remembers Biscuit, right? My little sweetie baby. She doesn't even want to eat. Okay. Here's the secret to the LinkedIn algorithm. It's not a puzzle that can be solved. It's a beast that must be tamed. right? So you can't bend the algorithm to your will, but you can gently nudge it your way by DMing people, commenting with people, getting on the right hashtags and producing content every day. You can get yourself into bigger audiences and you can get seen by more people. So don't try to solve the puzzle. Try to tame the beast. We need that one more time. Here's why you're wasting your time trying to chase here's why you're wasting your time trying to figure out the LinkedIn algorithm. So the algorithm isn't a puzzle that can be solved. It's a beast that must be tamed, right? So the algorithm is going to change. LinkedIn is always going to experiment. But right now, what it wants is interaction. So if you DM people, you're more likely to wind up in their newsfeed. If you're commenting on their content, same thing. If you're connecting with people all the time, your audience will grow. So these are the different things you can do to boost your own content that are entirely in your control. Just tame the beast. Okay, she's getting restless. But whatever, that's fine. Okay, I'm in like a ranty mood today. I'm Mr. Ranty Rant. Because I'm just complaining about coaches and bosses that I had. But whatever. What are the odds that they're watching the show right now? Probably like, well, there's some odds, but whatever. Okay. So this is called work-life balance. Have you ever worked for a company that says they believe in work-life balance and then gives you no work-life balance? I worked in a company where we were behind on our goal. So they took away the 2 weeks of vacation we usually get around the holidays. And when I went to my boss and told her I think I need a day off, not only did she dissuade me from taking the day off, but she scheduled me for a 4-hour training on the importance of time management. I asked her if she took it. She did not take it. I took the time management course, and all the course told me was you need to take time off. If you tell a boss that you need time off and they dissuade you, you should take the time off anyway. I spent 4 extra hours doing this assignment, and I'm pretty sure my boss didn't even read the writing reflection that she assigned me. So, yeah, if your company says they believe in work-life balance and mental health, but they do not practice it at all, just get out, man, because that shit ruins you. That's fine. It's going to be another kind of vulnerable one. And maybe it doesn't, maybe it can be funny. Okay, so the premise is a lot of the people who engage with content don't click the like button, they don't comment, they don't interact, but they're there watching. Statistics say that most people just watch the video and don't say anything. I'm trying to figure that out, so we'll see here. Okay, so it feels like you suck because no one's commenting on your thing and no one's hitting the like button, but trust me, most users do not click the like button. Just look at yourself. Try to subconsciously take note of, okay, I got to do this again because I messed that up. But look, I know it feels like you suck, but it's okay. Trust me. So especially if you're making content and you're not getting a lot of comments, it's frustrating. We all want more comments, but the reality is there's a lot of people who are watching your stuff and just not clicking the like button and not leaving a comment. Why? Because that's what most people do. You can see it yourself. The next time you're scrolling through your newsfeed, try to notice how often you don't click the like button. I see posts from my friends all day, and I like them. I like their content. There's a million reasons why I might be scrolling past it, but people see it. They're out there. They're just not telling you. People who comment and share and like, they are in the 1% of 1%. Don't let it get you down. Okay. Okay, I'll do this one. This one's a improv theory one. Sometimes, thanks, Andrew. Thanks for being in the audience. Everybody in the audience there, hello. If you're just joining us, I am live batching TikTok footage, so I'm going to be turning this into TikToks later. But jump into the comments. Let me know you're here. If you are here, if you have suggestions, if you have questions, if you want anything you want to see on camera, let me know. But I'm just going to continue on filming things. So this one's called Wet Cardboard. When you're doing improv comedy, you don't get to pick the suggestion. You're supposed to just, whatever the audience says, whatever the first thing that gets said is wet cardboard. Okay, so this seems like it would be a really shitty suggestion, right? How can you make an hour-long improv show out of the suggestion wet cardboard? Actually, I just had the AC turn on, so I'm gonna try that again. But what I'm gonna do here as I'm describing this now is I'm going to record the line, and then I'm going to record me saying wet cardboard in a different voice, and then I'm going to lay that audio on the track, so I'm going to have another voice on the track too. So let's try this again. Can I get a suggestion? Great. Wet cardboard. Okay, so it seems like wet cardboard is a shitty suggestion for an improv scene, especially if you're doing an hour-long, completely improvised show. But in improv, you don't get to choose what your suggestion is. The first thing the audience yells, that's what you're supposed to take. So what would I do with wet cardboard? Well, the first thing you got to remember is it's not about the suggestion, right? The suggestion is just an idea generator. So the question I always ask is, what am I feeling? Why is the cardboard wet? Am I angry about that? Am I happy that the cardboard is wet, right? Maybe cardboard is wet because it's snowing and I have some beer buried in the snow and we're having a party with, a bunch of my igloo friends. Maybe I'm upset because the roof is leaking all over my classic records, and that's the wet cardboard, and I'm moving boxes around, I'm getting really flustered, and it doesn't really matter because once you start improvising off another person, our characters are going to bounce off each other, and it's going to go to a completely different place. But yeah, if somebody tells you wet cardboard, whatever, just start going with it, start making decisions, and it'll probably be funny. Okay. Okay. Top pet peeve. Igor, good suggestion. Let's go with it. Here's my biggest pet peeve on LinkedIn. People who post about how many views they got this week. Look, I'm guilty of it too. I want the views, but nobody cares. Nobody cares. Just like they don't care if you go viral. They don't care if nobody sees your post. But they don't care if you got 20,000 views this week. That really means nothing to them. And it shouldn't mean anything. There's all these reasons why someone on LinkedIn might have a ridiculous amount of engagement. Sometimes they just buy it. Sometimes they are in a pod. I was talking to someone yesterday who sent out an email blast. He was doing a canned email to tens of thousands of people, and he had his LinkedIn in the signature. So, of course, he had this giant flood of LinkedIn traffic that suddenly appeared on his profile. So you see the people throwing those numbers out there, and it makes you feel like you're insignificant, but you don't know the whole story. And even if someone did earn those views, who the fuck cares? Nobody. I don't even, I would not care if I was in the audience and I was like, oh, Chris Bogue got 60,000 what-it-is this week. Who cares? Just go be interesting. Let's try that one more time. We could probably do that cleaner. What's your number one pet peeve on LinkedIn? Here's mine. People who brag about how many views and comments they got this week. See it all the time. They will pull up graphs showing you how many views they got. And they'll tell you it's because I post every day and I love you, but nobody cares. Like, they don't care if you go viral. They don't care if your post gets 3 likes either. It doesn't really mean a lot. And there's a million reasons why that number might be huge, and you have to keep that in mind. So sometimes people just pay for that. You can just buy engagement. You can boost your posts. Some people are members of pods. So if you're in a pod, that means you're in a group where lots of people are there specifically to like your content and engage with it regardless of the quality. And I was just talking to someone yesterday. He was a sales guy, and he just sent out an email blast, an email campaign to like 10,000 cold prospects. And his email or his LinkedIn link was in the email template. So of course he got this giant boost of all these tens of thousands of people checking out his stuff. But you can't get distracted by that. So don't get yourself down if your engagement isn't super high. And if your engagement is super high, that's good for you, but I don't care. Okay. Okay, I'm going to switch shirts one more time. Okay, so green shirt time. Okay, this one is called Keith Finished Things. Collar's a little wrinkled, but it's going to drive me nuts. Okay. Maybe I can... all right, whatever. I'm just going to try it. So, this is a story about my best friend, Keith. So you might know Keith Habersberger. He's a Try Guy. He's in Lou Burger. He's all over TikTok. And he and I were roommates in college. And we did sketch comedy and improv for a long time together. And he's taught me more about life than anyone I know. And when we were in college, we would get drunk with our friends and we would come up with stupid ideas. And Keith was different than everybody else because we would have fun all night, we would party, and then he'd wake me up in the morning and say, "Hey, give me $10. Be like, what? He's like, that's that Mario Brothers sketch we came up with last night. I'm going to go get the materials, but I need the money, so let's all put in $10. And whenever we had a stupid idea, Keith was the guy that actually made sure we put it into action. He'd come up and he was always very encouraging. And he's like, yeah, you could do that. And you could play a Goomba and you could play the piranha plant. And then we would have a sketch. But that stuck with me because I learned that successful people finish things. And the reason why Keith has so much success is he actually goes a step further than everybody else. He makes sure the job gets done. He builds that investment in there. And I've learned so much about being a business owner and a content creator and a good person because Keith is the man. Okay, this one is called Start in the Middle. I just start talking to you in the middle of the sentence. Audiences don't have time for exposition, so you don't have to explain who you are or what your qualifications are. This is really useful in storytelling or in TikToks or anything. Just start in the middle of the sentence and then move on. Try that one more time. A little bit more relaxed on the energy this time. It's seriously like the coolest trick on earth. Just start talking to people in the middle of a sentence. Don't waste any time on the exposition. You don't need to explain who you are or why you're qualified. This is great if you're writing stories. This is great if you're making videos on TikTok. Just start talking to the audience mid-sentence and then end it whenever you feel like. Okay, this one's called Finding a Job on LinkedIn. Are you jobless? Are you looking to get hired, but you don't know how to get a job on LinkedIn? Here's what I do. So first, go through a bunch of lists, look for top 500 tech companies of 2022 or 2021, find a big list and just go through and make an Excel doc and make like 100 companies on the list that you think would be cool to work at, where you like what they sell, it seems like it'd be a good fit for you. So that's step one. Step two, go on LinkedIn and just start connecting with people. Search for everybody in the company who puts content on LinkedIn, and also search for anybody who has a similar skill set to you or has a similar job title to job titles you've had. So get friendly, send a connection request saying, hey, I love company name. Hope we can connect. Get friendly with them. Then once you have all these connections, once you have the list, then you go through the job websites, look for open positions, look for who is hiring. And now you can reach out to your LinkedIn connections and say, hey, can you give me any advice before I put in my application here? But now you've gotten in, they might let you use them as a referral. You've got some context for the role, and you didn't have to deal with job sites. So LinkedIn is the secret sauce for job searchers. Okay, I'm going to try one more time. Hey, did you lose your job? Do you fucking hate writing resumes? Good, because you don't need to write a resume. Here's how you can do job searching on LinkedIn, right? So first, take an Excel doc and just Google a couple lists of like top 250 tech companies, top 500 tech companies in 2021. Look for the list of the best places to work and put 100 of them into that Excel doc. That's step one. Step two is go on LinkedIn and start sending connection requests. Try to send at least 100 a month. That's what they max you out at. But search for people in those companies. Make friends with anybody who is putting content out there. Make friends with anybody who has a similar role to you or looks like they have a similar personality to you. And just say, hey, I love the work that company does. Hope we can connect. Next step, now you go to look for the jobs. So go to their jobs pages, go to their careers pages, find the open positions. But before you write your resume, reach out to the connections you have in that company and say, hey, I'm about to apply for this position. Can you give me any advice or any context? Can you let me know who's going to actually be viewing my application? They might give you some good advice. They also might let you use them as a reference. So now you can send your resume in. You know it's a cool company. You have connections in there. You've established some relationships. Maybe you got someone to put in a good word for you. And that's how you get a job using LinkedIn. I post a massive amount of content on LinkedIn and Twitter and TikTok. I'm out here every day on multiple platforms all the time. And people ask, how do I do that? How do you just come up with all these ideas? And I'm actually a person who doesn't come up with ideas out of thin air. I actually need to play off of other people. So if that sounds like you, if you need other people to get your ideas, what you do is just go comment. Go into threads, especially on LinkedIn. Go find conversations where you're interested and you're knowledgeable about the subjects being discussed and just comment, because LinkedIn lets you download your data. You can go into the settings. You can say, download a copy of my data. And if you do the large version of the data, you can get it all in a CSV doc and you'll have all your comments in one place. So I add an extra column full of checkboxes and I just put checkboxes next to every good idea I have. And now I've got a bunch of first drafts written, and I can turn that into whatever kind of content I want. So you don't have to come up with it out of thin air. Go start interacting with people, download your comments in a couple weeks, and then start writing. Okay, try that one more time. See if I can get it a little bit more concise. I write multiple pieces of content for multiple platforms every single day. I literally have at least one or two posts going out on LinkedIn and TikTok and Twitter every single day. And people think that's nuts. Like, how am I supposed to come up with all these new ideas out of nowhere? Well, I've got good news for you, because you don't have to. If you're anything like me, you're a collaborative person, which means you don't come up with ideas out of nowhere. You get your ideas off of working with other people. Well, that's how I am too. So what you can do is you can go on LinkedIn, you can leave comments in relevant conversations, and then LinkedIn lets you download all your comments. Let's go to your settings, click download my data, click the large archive, and yeah, you can have every single comment you've ever made in a spreadsheet. So I take my comments, I add a column full of checkboxes, and then I go through and I check every single thing that could be turned into a piece of content. And that's how I'm able to get out there every day. So you don't have to think of it all. Just go start working off somebody else's good idea, and you'll probably get some good stuff. Okay, I'm going to do a couple more, and then I'm going to wrap this up. So I'll be right back after one more costume change. Okay, short sleeve gray this time. This one's called Why I Caption My Videos. I caption all my videos, and I think you should too. People think they don't have time for it. TikTok has automatic captions. Most platforms have automatic captions. Here's what happened when I started captioning my videos. So I launched my own business. I wanted to create video content, and I noticed that most content creators on LinkedIn don't use captions. So I was like, all right. So I started writing my own captions. I started following accessibility advocates. I started learning from people who made captions. And then what happened was, one, I got this whole group of fans who are deaf. These people who are hard of hearing or deaf, they don't have sound for whatever reason, but they can consume my content because I caption my stuff for them. So I got a bigger audience. I started getting clients. So I have clients who pay for my coaching who are in the accessibility world. I help them come up with messaging for their speeches and their jobs now. And then, yeah, it's also been really useful. I wrote a book. I've come up with all this content because I use the transcripts of all my interviews and all my conversations. When I have coaching sessions, I run an auto transcription. I use transcriptions for everything, and I caption everything. And most users on mobile do not have sound. So don't even do it for deaf people. Do it because, probably at least a fourth of your audience won't be able to get your message if you don't have captions. So caption your stuff. It is totally worth it. Just make sure you take a couple seconds to fix it, fix the spelling and grammar, and you'll be good. This one's called Easter eggs. Here's the most frustrating part about making video content. I put all these crazy Easter eggs into my videos, and no one ever notices them. I did this 1950s sitcom parody that I thought was so cool. It didn't get any engagement, and nobody noticed that my character was in the Full House background, and my guest was in the I Love Lucy background because I threw those details in there. It didn't matter. I had this one video I did where I throw this random bit in the middle of the episode where I throw to a one-off character named Pancake Jake. He does this whole pancake pun that I had to think of. What the audience missed with Pancake Jake, because I didn't have a good enough resolution and I should have done this in After Effects, that bag that I throw Pancake Jake as a prize says silver dollars on it. I wrote silver dollars on the bag with a Sharpie and nobody could see it, but I know it's there and it stays with the internal logic of the universe I invented. And yeah, if you ever watch my stuff, I'm going to throw a bunch of crazy crap in just to see if you miss it. What's better, long form improv or short form improv? Trick question. You need both. You need to be able to do both. being able to construct a world and characters and relationships out of nothing is a great skill. So is being able to play party quirks and all the Whose Line Is It Anyway games. So I do not discriminate. I do long form and short form improv. They're both equally good. I do long form and short form content too. Sorry, creators, it's not one or the other. I do long stuff. I do short stuff. Do it all, baby. The algorithm is a cruel master. It's got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm going to wrap this up here because I'm almost at time. Okay, how would you react if the answer was yes? So let me see. No, I can't do the effect that I want on this one. So I'm just going to do it regular style. This question always confuses salespeople. If you cold call someone and they say, is this cold call? So I have found that the best way to do that is, oh, wait, I actually just realized. Okay, I forgot to record that line where I'm like, wet cardboard for the earlier one. So I'm just going to put that on the audio track here. So, wet cardboard. It do wet cardboard. Okay, that'll come back later. Here's the sales one. Now, actually, I'm going to do that. Okay, I'm actually going to call it there because I got two ideas. No, actually, no. I got two more. I do have two more. So this one's called I Don't Think I'm Doing This Right. Okay. I'll do that at the end of it, actually. So I don't think I'm doing this TikTok thing right. Everybody says you're supposed to just only talk about one thing all the time, but I want to talk about business and sales and comedy and improv and being a regular person and LinkedIn and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I think I'm just going to talk about me because the people who only talk about one thing seem to go viral and then they lose their virality and they get upset. So I'm just going to talk about Chris Bogue stuff. Try that one more time. I don't think I'm doing this TikTok thing right. Everyone says you're supposed to just talk about one thing over and over and over again, but those people seem to go viral and then they stop getting viral and they get really depressed about it. So I just talk about a bunch of stuff. I talk about comedy. I talk about improv. I talk about life. I talk about business. I talk about LinkedIn. I talk about music. And I'm just going to keep on being a big old weirdo. So if you want to follow me, hit that follow button, buddy. Okay, this last one's called Don't Get Angry. It's really hard to be in sales. I always keep a note on my desk that says don't get angry. I've been doing that for over 10 years. People get pissed off at you, and you have to remember that it's not your fault. People are rude, so don't get angry. You're still going to get angry sometimes, though. Okay. That's my hour. Thanks a lot for everybody who showed up. Follow me on TikTok at Chris Sells His Soul, or click the bell on LinkedIn for following my content every day. Have yourself a good rest of the day. Oh, and you can listen to all my interviews on Spotify or any podcast app. Look for Chris Sells His Soul. You can also find me TikTok, Chris Sells His Soul, or Twitter, Chris Sells Soul. Bye-bye, everybody.